I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Welcome back to another review. This is another Patreon review, this time for Greg B, who wanted me to review the 1998 film The Prince of Egypt, which is a film I've heard of for a while. I never got around to seeing it. I think mainly because I'm not a big fan of religious movies. It's not that I don't believe in anything, it's just they're not really something I search out to or seek out to see or watch. But I can say this was a fairly good one. It's got wonderful animation, lush colors, pretty damn good cast. I mean, the cast here, you got Val Kilmer as the voice of Moses, Ray Fiennes as the voice of his adoptive brother Ramses II, Michelle Pfeiffer as the lady that would become Moses, his wife, Sandra Bullock as the voice of Moses' biological sister, Jeff Goldblum as the voice of Moses' biological brother, Danny Glover, which I thought was kind of, I don't know, weird that Danny Glover voiced Michelle Pfeiffer's father. It's like, wait a minute, Danny Glover's daughter is Michelle Pfeiffer? Okay. I just thought that was kind of weird. But, you know, good voice actor. Patrick Stewart as his adoptive father. Helen Mirren as Moses' adoptive mother. Steve Martin and Martin Short as these two priests. And I will say, one of my issues, it seems like some of this voice cast don't really have a lot of room to breathe. Meaning, you think of the story of the Ten Commandments, usually stories of this nature, they're pretty lengthy running time. Exodus, Gods, and Kings, which I wasn't a fan of. You have the original Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston that I barely remember. I know the story, of course, but I barely remember the movie. Probably saw it once when I was a kid. And part of me was glad that it went at a pretty brisk pace, but at the same time, the shortcomings of that. You got Steve Martin and Martin Short as these priests. They don't really get a lot of time to flex any comedic muscle as the voices of those two characters. Or you have Sandra Bullock and Jeff Goldblum as the siblings of Moses. Again, they pop up a couple times, like one hand. And this is an instance that I kind of almost want to see an extended version that have some of these voice actors just do a little bit more, like Sandra Bullock, Martin Short, Steve Martin, Jeff Goldblum, and so forth. Like Patrick Stewart, a little bit in the first half of the film. Maybe it's because this is a really good, solid voice cast, and that helps the movie. And the animation, like I said, it's very well done. The music is fairly decent. I really enjoyed the Hans Zimmer score. Hans Zimmer, I would say, is in my top 5 favorite composers. Up there with your Jerry Goldsmith. For me, James Horner would be up there. maybe John Williams. But Hans Zimmer did a wonderful job. The songs were fine. I mean, I don't know if When You Believe deserved the Oscar for Best Song. There's other songs that came out that year I would have picked. I mean, honestly, 1998, that was the same year as Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I would put that song above the song in this. Or the songs in Mulan compared to other animated films, or The Lion King, I would put above this. I mean, this isn't a Disney movie, but I'm just saying other animated films around this time period. But, they're not bad songs, and I think the score outshines the songs, but they're not bad songs. I mean, the story itself, if you know the Ten Commandments storyline, this kind of plays to that, including the mass killing of babies. Not once, but twice. And I know Jeffrey Katzenberg, he was working at Disney. He always wanted to do an animated version of the Ten Commandments. That never worked because apparently Disney said, we don't want to do that stuff. So Jeffrey Katzenberg's like, okay. Now he was at DreamWorks. The story got made. And I don't know if it was a hit. It cost $70 million and it made $218 million worldwide, including $100 million in the U.S. I guess technically that's a hit. Maybe not compared to other animated films. But I don't know. You say 70 million, people say, yeah, make budget. I mean, double it to break even or double it to make a profit. I forget. So I don't know if it'd be considered a sincere box office hit or not. But like I say, it did win the Oscar for Best Song, which I believe Whitney Houston and who is the other lady? On the tip of my tongue. Can't believe I cannot remember. Why can't I not remember it? Mariah Carey. There you go. I mean, I don't know how, I doubt anyone doesn't know the story of the Ten Commandments. I mean, and all that stuff. I say Ten Commandments, but stuff before that, because it ends at the Ten Commandments scene. But there's a mass killing of babies, statues are being erected, baby Moses is sent down the river, one thing leads to another, the baby is picked up by Ramses and mainly the mother, Ramses' wife, played by Helen Mirren. They raise it up as their own kid, has an adopted brother, Ramses II, voiced by Ray Fiennes here. You have a pretty fun sequence where they're having a chariot race. You get some really nice animation where they're going up and down this thing, causing a bunch of chaos. There's some good, interesting directing choices. Like when baby Moses sent down the river, the way they developed that scene where the mother is seeing her baby and make it out okay and get picked up, like the way that was structured I thought was nice. Again, certain the action sequences, the way they're handled. The scene near the end when, of course, you part the Red Sea. Again, it's really nice animation. Val Kilmer, I thought he did a nice job as the voice of Moses. He fit the role well. He didn't sound out of place. One thing leads to another. Moses realizes that he's not actually related to these people, and then seeing all these slaves and realizes that's wrong, and one thing leads to another, escapes or leaves. That's where he meets this woman he met earlier, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Bring him to her home. Her father, voiced by Danny Glover. Again, it's a bit weird that Danny Glover is Michelle Pfeiffer's father, but whatever. when I was talking about the direction, there's some interesting ways there's 3 directors, Brenda Chapman, Steve Hickner, and Simon Wells. I think Simon Wells is related to H.G. Wells. I think Simon Wells did, is that the guy who did the remake of The Time Machine? Yeah. I like the remake of The Time Machine. Huh. 3 directors. But there's a scene when Moses is realizing what's going on, and he looks at the walls, and there's the hieroglyphics, the little paintings, and he visualizes himself as one of the paintings and sort of figure out his own backstory while this art style is coming alive, and he's part of that painting art style. I thought that was a really interesting choice, and it breaks up, I want to say monotony, but the rest of the animation is beautiful, so that's not the right word, but I'm like, okay, they didn't have to do that, but that was a really interesting choice. It made that scene stand out a bit more than it probably would have if it just done normally. And for an animated film, it does take a little bit of chances. I mean, the mass killing the babies at the beginning, inciting events, the plagues come very quickly, including the blood and the water and the locusts, the frogs, animals dying, and then I guess you call it the fire, the breath of God, whatever, that if you don't paint your house blood red on the doors, your firstborn is killed. And maybe that's sometimes my problem with religion. And I do want to believe in something. It's just when I look at stories like this, I'm like, wow, God seems like a fucking asshole. I know that sounds wrong, but I'm going, killing kids either way is pretty damn wrong. Like, imagine today's age, right? I'm going down a rabbit hole I probably shouldn't, but imagine today's age. We hear, let's say a different country. Let's say, pick whatever country. And we heard there's this big battle happening between these two. And one said, we're going to kill the firstborn so you can listen to our ass. Or even, not even that. They're slaves. We want out. They kill the firstborn of each kid. Hey, we're free. There's still going to be a shitload of people going, you fucking assholes. Fuck you. I don't know, like, I do like that they have the Moses character, voiced by Val Kilmer, be upset about that, and they show it. I do appreciate that. He's the only one that does. Like, no one else does. Not Sandra Bullock's character or Jeff Goldblum's character or anything else. It just, and on a side note, I thought it was interesting that the mist of God kind of looked like something out of the first Ghostbusters. Like when Walter Peck, Dickless, turned the machine off and everyone went ape shit, and then the clouds. Like kind of what this looked like, the clouds. And I don't know, for a split second, I heard that music. Yeah, na na na, it's a magic. It's a kind of magic. I know that's a stupid thought. But I don't know, just when I look at stories like this, I'm like, wow, God was kind of a dick. And I'm like, wow, if you could do that, why don't you just do something else? Like, just teleport everybody and get the fuck out of there. Just teleport all the slaves and move them the 100 or 1,000 miles away. I don't know, that's the thing with religion. I'm like, huh? Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. That's not the movie's fault. The movie's adaptation of a story, but that's more on the original story. But the slaves do leave. They are let go by Ramses II and part of Red Seas. They make it out of there. All the soldiers drown except Ray Fiennes' character, and then leads them on, and the last scene is him with the Ten Commandments. Movie's over. The story itself, again, I've never been big on, because I'm not big on religion. With that said, it was a competently told story as an adaptation with well done animation, a very nice voice cast, fairly solid music. And yeah, I liked the score more than the songs, but the songs were not bad or anything. I just don't think the one song deserved an Oscar, but it's not a bad song at all. I would like to have heard a bit more of Sandra Bullock and Jeff Goldblum's characters, or maybe a little bit more of Steve Martin Short's characters. Because you think Steve Martin Short, I didn't really get a lot of laughs from those characters. But maybe because it's a story that's trying to be a bit more serious, even though there's a little bits of humor here and there. But it's definitely more dramatic compared to other animated films. So, yeah, overall I liked it. It was worth a watch. I don't see the film as something I would ever watch again, but I'm glad I saw it once. I keep coming back to this. I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but the voice cast and animation really helped the film, and the music. Which, for an animated film, that's most of the journey. The voice cast, the animation, the music. If there's 4 things, the last one will be the story. And the story that's not the movie's fault, it's the original source material fault. Which again, I'm not, I guess, that big on. I'm not an atheist. I do believe, but I guess, what I believe, I'm like, I don't know if he would kill a bunch of babies. It seems kind of a dickish thing to do. Maybe that's just me. Oh, but it's for good. I'm like, I don't know if any cause is a good cause to do that. Just kill the soldiers. Like, why kill it? Just kill the soldiers. There'd be no soldiers, and then everyone would be free. Like, if you don't do that, just kill all the soldiers who would, hold them back. Because if Ray Fiennes is by himself and there's no soldiers, Ray Fiennes is not going to stop 100 or whatever slaves from doing shit. But that's just me. But either way, I do think it's, for as an adaptation, if you're more a fan of the source materials than I am, and if you've never seen the film, for the few that I've seen, I think it's the best adaptation of that story. Again, it's briskly paced. I was never bored with it. Like I said, beautiful animation, some good direction, like some of the sequences I mentioned, like the flashback with the painting showing his life and coming to life. Other scenes of that nature, the sequence of the plague showcasing the frogs and the animals, the locusts, fire from the sky. That was some good animation. And kudos for the voice cast they got. But yeah, Prince of Egypt, not a bad film at all. Not a bad film at all. Sorry this is not the best review, but I'm doing my best. But thanks all for watching. If anyone ever wants to send in a request via Patreon or PayPal, whether it be a commentary or review, Patreon is like a monthly thing. PayPal is a one-time thing. So either one. If not, no worries. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys in the next video. Later.